ना कोई लो पाय। ब्रजेंद्र नंदन जे सची सुत होलो से। बलराम होइलो निकाय। दीनहीन जट चिलो हरि नामे उतरिलो। तार साक्षी जगई मदान। आह प्रभु नंद सुत वृषभानु सुत जुत। करुणा करो एहि बार। नरोत्तम दास कोय ना तेरी हो रंग पाए। तुम बिन के अच्छे अमर। हरि हरि विफल जन्म गुणाईनु। मनुष्य जन्म पाया। राधा कृष्ण न भाजिया। जानिया सुनिया विष खायनु। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे हरे। हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे हरे। हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे। हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे। हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे। हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। जय जय प्रभुपाद जय जय प्रभुपाद। जय जय गुरुदेव जय जय गुरुदेव। नित्य गौर हरि बोल नित्य गौर हरि बोल। हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय। श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। गुरुदेव की जय। Hare Krishna, devotees being Ekadashi, and it will be nice to know these songs, especially when we read the meanings. So any four of you can just read the meaning of each of the. It is there.
Hare Krishna, Mataji, Dandat Pranam.
Hare Krishna. Yes, Mataji, please.
Translation by Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Oh Lord Hari, I have spent my life uselessly, having obtained a human birth and having not no Mataji, that is Net has written Net, and having net worshipped Radha and Krishna, I have
not worshipped.
And having not worshipped Radha and Krishna, I have knowingly drunk poison. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Yes, Shobha Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam Mataji. Translation of verse 2. The treasure of divine love is Goloka Vrindavana has descended as the congregational chanting of Lord Hari's holy name. Why did my attraction for the chanting never come about? Day and night my heart burns from the fire of the possession of worldliness, and I have not taken the means to relieve it. Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam Mataji. Hare
Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Lord Krishna, who is the son of the king of Vraja, became the son of Shakti, Lord Chaitanya.
And Balrama.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Became the Lord of the son of Sachi, Lord Chaitanya, and Balarama became Nitai. The holy name delivered all those souls who were lowly and rich. The two sinners, Jagai and Madai, are evidence of this. Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. The last one.
May Mataji.
Please, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Go ahead.
Hare Krishna Mataji. O Lord Krishna, son of Nanda, accompanied by the daughter of Vrishabhanu, please be merciful to me now. Narottama Dasa says, O Lord, please do not push me away from your reddish lotus feet, for who is my beloved except for you. Hare Krishna
Hare
Mataji.
Krishna. Srila Narottam Das Thakur ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jaya Mudiraye Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtake Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langayate Girim Yatkrapatam Am Vande Shri Gurum Dinacharinam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram Harihi Om Tat Sat O Magnanati Mirandasya Gnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurum Militam Nena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Namom Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, welcoming all devotees for today's Brahma Samhita, which is going to be shloka number 55. Just have a quick look at the translation of 54, and if any points any of you remember, being Ekadashi, it would be nice to little recap what we saw yesterday. Yeah, who wants to read the translation of shloka 54?
Mataji, can I read?
Please, Mataji, go ahead.
1 minute.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna. 54 translation, Mataji.
Yes, Mataji.
I adore the primeval Lord Govinda.
Mataji, translation by His Divine Grace.
Translation by Sri Prabhupada ki.
Not this translation is not by Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada, it's His Guru, His Divine Grace, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati.
Divine Grace, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. I adore the primeval Lord Govinda, the meditators of whom, by meditating upon him under the sway of wrath.
1 second, Mataji, which one? 1 second.
54 Mataji.
50. You are reading 55. I have opened the screen.
Mataji.
For 54.
Sorry, Mataji.
Yeah. Okay. No problem.
I adore the primeval Lord Govinda, who burns up to their roots all fruitive activities of those who are imbued with devotion and impartially ordains from each the due enjoyment of the fruits of one's activities of all those who walk in the path of work in accordance with the chain of their previously performed works, no less in the case of the tiny insects that bears the name of Indragopa than in that of Indra, king of the Devas. Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Yes. Anybody wants to share what was kind of discussed yesterday? Maybe a point or two.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Yes,
Shall I
Mataji.
try, Mataji?
Please, Mataji.
Mataji, what I learned from this translation is that the Lord has given in Bhagavad Gita, Tadviti Pranipatena Pariprasnena Sevya, he will reciprocate according to the desires and activities of the persons, Mataji. Those who are in devotion, he will burn up all the reactions of the fruitive activities. And those who are, they want they want some desires from fruitive activities, he will give them. Like Kakama Sak, Sarva Kamova, like that, he will give whatever the persons want, Mataji, devotees. Hare Krishna, Dandavad Pranams.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, Mataji. That was very nice. Yeah, just before we go, what is the difference between the karma kanda activities and how is devotional service more divine or more absolute, if I have to say? Now, karma kanda activities actually, karma kanda activities in, I mean, like, you know, we had these festival time, Shravana Masa, we have various festivals, we do a lot of vratas, right? At that moment, maybe we are, a little more purer stage and maybe able to relate our sambandha with the Lord and in the more sattvic mood. But then the main difference between the karma kanda activities and devotional service is, the proclivity or the thing to enjoy material senses does not go away by doing the karma kanda activities, right? But the devotional service, what does devotional service do? It burns off from root the wanting to enjoy this material world, our senses. Like you say, you know how we can understand this is, if we have any health issues, right? Maybe we immediately go to allopathy, and then they say it is only the symptom is treated. But you go to Ayurveda, they treat the root, at the root of it. So what does devotional service do? At the root, the anartha, which is, in the heart, the anartha of false identification that I am this body, the false thing that I have to enjoy whatever I see, I have to enjoy my senses have to be happy. At the root, devotional service removes it. Whereas the karma kanda activities, the fruitive activities, that does not, it does not get burnt, right? So just a quick translation of one shloka of Bhagavad Gita 4.37. It says, translation by Srila Prabhupada, Jai Srila. As a blazing fire turns firewood to ashes, O Arjuna, so does the fire of knowledge burn to ashes all the reactions of material activities, right? So knowledge, not just knowledge, Prabhupada very clearly in all the purports explains devotional service. It doesn't stop at devotion, bhakti, seva, right? So we'll go to today's shloka with that just quick a recap of yesterday. Shloka 55. We need devotees to volunteer to read the shloka, the translation word to word, and the translation and purport. Purport also can be read by 3 people, probably 3 or 4 people, because it is a little bigger purport. Yes, Rohini Mataji, do you want to read the shloka?
Pranam Mataji, Hare Krishna. Yam krodha kama sahaja pranayadi bhiti Vatsalya moha guru gaurava sevya bhavai Sanchitya tasya sadrisham tanumapurete Govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. Anita Mataji, word to word translation.
Yam, upon whom krodha, wrath, kama, amorous passion, sahaja pranaya, natural friendly love, adi and so on, bhiti fear, Vatsalya, parental affection, Moha, delusion, Guru Gaurava, reverence, Sevya Bhavaihi, and with the attitude of willing service, Sanchintya, meditating, Tasya, of that, Sadrisham, befitting, Tanum, bodily form, Apuhu, attained, Ete, these persons, Govindam, Govinda, Adi Purusham, the original person, Tam, him, Aham, I, Bhajam, Avashu.
Thank you,
Translation
Mataji. Translation, yeah, we'll try to see if there's no one else, then I'll come back to you, Mataji. Okay? Yeah. Sudha Mataji, translation, please.
Hare Krishna Mataji, pranams. Translation by His Divine Grace, Sri Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada. All glory to Prabhupada. I adore the primeval Lord Govinda, the meditators of hope, by meditating upon him under the sway of that amorous passion, natural friendly love, fear, parental affection, delusion, reverence, and willing service, attain to bodily forms befitting the nature of their contemplation. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah. Krishnamurti Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Shall I read purport, Mataji?
Yes.
Purport by Bhakti Vedanta Prabhupada Swamiji, Prabhupada ki. Sorry.
Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj.
Srila Bhakti Vedanta Siddhanta Saraswati Swamiji, Swamiji ki jai. Devotion is of two kinds, which of the nature of difference to regulation and constituted of natural feeling. Bhakti is roused by following with a ting of faith in the rule of the Shastras and instructions of the preceptors. Such bhakti is of the nature of loyalty to the spiritual regulations. It continues to be operative as long as the corresponding natural feeling is not roused. If a person loves Krishna out of natural tendency, there is the principle of raga, which is no other than a strong desire to serve, which turns into bhava or substantive feeling. When the substantive feeling is aroused, the devotee becomes an object of mercy of Krishna. It takes much time to attain this state. Devotion, which is of the nature of feeling, is superior to that connected with spiritual regulation.
Scriptural regulation.
Scriptural regulation. Soon attains to the realized the state and is attractive to Krishna. It is various.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Various aspects. Okay, Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Hare Krishna. Okay. So here in the first part, devotion of two kinds, difference and to regulation. Now there are two things that we do even in the material world. Some things we do it as duty. It has to be done. There is no go. For instance, waking up. There's a nice saying in English. I wish there was a better way of starting the day other than waking up. Somebody made this. But then I don't think we have a choice, right? How many of us are very happy to wake up very early in the morning, especially during winter season? How many of us like doing that?
Yes, I am ready, Mataji.
Okay, very nice. But generally, what is the feeling? Devotees? Is it very...
Hit the snooze button.
Yeah. So 5 minutes, this side, that side, and then, take the kumble more and then try to snooze, right? So, but then out of duty, it can be duty of to college, at home, or to office, right? So, bhakti is also like that. Initially, for most of us, I'm not including everybody, there can be some people who naturally come with a lot of bhakti bhava. But for most of us, it is like more, there is one saying in Kannada, bhayadinda bhakti. I think we understand what is bhaya, right? When we initially come, I don't want to be, an old age. I don't want to suffer a lot. I don't want my children to suffer. Some kind of fear we come to bhakti, right? You're all with me? Yes, initially.
Yes, yes, Mataji. Yes.
Yeah? Fear of
Yes.
so many things, right? So we do bhakti as an obligatory, I mean, so that we don't want some things. So that is what is the first aspect, of the nature of difference or to regulation. Because the spiritual master has told me, because the scriptures say we have to chant, we have to do this, right? Of course, we have some faith. Because of that faith and because of something that we want, we do bhakti. So this is called Vaidhi Bhakti, following the rules and regulations. Now, whereas there are some, now if you take the example of Hanuman, right? If you take Hanuman doesn't need any reason to do bhakti, right? It naturally comes to him, whether irrespective of what is the outcome, he just wants to do bhakti. So that is called Raganuga Bhakti, where here it came, this principle of raga. What is raga? Vita raga bhaya krodha comes, there's a shloka that comes in Bhagavad Gita. What is raga? Anybody wants to share? What exactly is raga?
Raga is attachment. Mataji.
Attachment, correct, perfect, correct. Thank you, Mataji. Raga is attachment. So when the feeling is natural, then that attachment is, it is called Raganuga Bhakti. Like how mostly, I mean, for parents, it is very natural to feel a lot for the children. Parents go out of their way, which they would normally not do for others. That kind of spontaneity in bhakti, right, comes when there is a strong desire to serve. You see how it is connected, right? Initially, we come with Vaidhi Bhakti. We do it because somebody has told us. It can be the spiritual master also, but because he is saying, yeah, it is very good. That is how purification starts, right? And then from that, we come to the strong desire to serve. You might have heard, if many of us who are going to temple, you will see some devotees are always only serving, and then you hear things also. And this Mataji or this Prabhu is always serving in the temple. So it takes a lot of what to say, lot of conviction, a lot of attachment to serve the Lord. Like if I have to take another example, now how many of us have deities at home, who take care of deities, who have and serve the deities? How many of us have? I'm just asking.
Mataji, photos also, Mataji.
It's okay. Even, I mean, everything is Krishna, photos or whatever.
Yes, we are having Mataji.
We are having, right? Now, deities you're having, yes. Right? See, now when Raganuga Bhakti means, right, irrespective of the situation that is there, we will do service to the deities, because we understand from scriptures, deity is non-different from Krishna, right? We understand deities are non-different from Krishna. Now, why I'm giving this example is because I personally also experienced this. Now, if we are going to the temple, it can be ISKCON temple only, and especially on Sundays, if we leave early, there are a lot of services that we don't do to the deities at home. Or if we have to go out, we have not cooking at home because of some other functions or anything. There is a tendency to skip cooking at home and offering to the deities that we have at home, right? But in Raganuga Bhakti, nothing will come in between. Like we take solace, like I offered some fruit, but whereas I may be sitting and eating a wholesome food somewhere, but then I may just offer, because I have to offer something, the deities are there, So that is the difference between Vaidhi, we are still on the Vaidhi Bhakti. Raga Anuga Bhakti, very clearly here, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj says, when this feeling comes, it takes much time to get to this stage. But still, it is a very heartening, very positive note that we are at least on the path of that Vaidhi Bhakti also, because by doing that, the anarthas, or this aspect of getting to Raga and Bhakti, is we are on that path, and based on our faith, our submission, and our service, we reach to Raga and Bhakti, right? So that is the first part of it. Now, Rajalakshmi Mataji, can you please continue reading?
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Yeah, we have to start from here. Shanta Bhava, right?
Shanta Bhava, full of reverence to superior. Dasya Bhava, full of service for carrying out the commands of the object of worship. Sakya Bhava, or natural friendly love. Vatsalya Bhava, or parental affection. And Madhura Bhava, or amorous love, are all included in the category of devotion of the nature of instinctive attachment. But anger, fear,
instinctive
attachment. Sorry, Mataji. But anger, fear, and delusion, though they are of the nature of instinctive impulse, are not devotion in the strict sense of the term, because they are not friendly but hostile to the object. Anger is found in asuras like Shishupala, fear in Kamsa, and delusion in the Panditas of the pantheistic school. They have the feelings of anger, fear, and instinctive impulse marked by complete self-forgetful identification with the non-differentiated Brahman. But can you please scroll, Mataji?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, Mataji.
But as there is no friendly feeling, there is no friendly feeling toward the object of devotion, there is no bhakti. Again, among the feelings of Shanta, Dasya, Sakya, Vatsalya, and Madhura, Santa, though indifferent and dormant in Raga, is still reckoned as bhakti on account of its being a little friendly. There is an immense volume of Raga in the other 4 varieties of emotion. By the promise of...
Mataji. Thank you.
Thank you, Mataji.
Okay, thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. So now they're talking of the 5 types of bhava that each soul has with the sambandha. First, that sambandha as a Shanta Bhava. What is Shanta Bhava? When somebody is in awe and reverence, like they're like when Arjuna saw the universal form, like he was like in real awe, then he was dumbstruck. Oh, is this the Krishna whom I said, Sakha, ye Yadava? And then he begs for forgiveness. In complete awe and reverence. Actually, in the Shanta Bhava, there is no service that is done, right? It is just that they are completely, bewildered by the beauty of the Lord, or the magnanimity of Lord, right? So that is the Shanta Bhava. Now the Dasya Bhava, like I took the example of Hanuman, right? Now how exactly, how much of Dasya Bhava he showed. Like there is a pastime. Lakshman, was distributed various sevas to everybody in Ayodhya. And it so happened that he left out Hanuman, because he thought Hanuman was doing so much of seva that others were not giving seva. So he was, now Hanuman being in the Dasya Bhava, he was wondering why he didn't stop at that. At first he thought, why did Lakshman give me any seva? Then he said, okay, no problem. Then he goes and stands near Sri Ramachandra, and then he's waiting. He's just standing there and waiting. And when Sri Ramachandra yawns, we had this habit of earlier. If you see if somebody yawns, they snap their fingers in front of their mouth to not yawn again. So Hanuman he's waiting there and standing, and when Sri Ramachandra yawns, he's snapping his fingers in front of Sri Ramachandra's mouth. So that is this Dasya Bhava shown by Hanuman, right? And then we are talking about the Sakya Bhava, natural friendly love, right? The examples are Arjuna we can take, and then we can also take all the Gopas in Golok Vrindavana with Krishna, and of course the famous Sudhama, who showed so much of love towards Krishna. Then Vatsalya Bhava, we have Nanda Maharaj and Yashoda, then Devaki and Vasudeva, and of course many others, right? Their Vatsalya Bhava, especially Yashoda Mata's Vatsalya Bhava, is highlighted so much that if you read the pastimes, especially in Damodar month is going to come soon. She is so protective of Krishna that she, every time there is a demon who comes and then Krishna fights, even though she sees how easily Krishna is defeating the demons, she keeps on going and praying to Lord Vishnu and says, please protect my child, because so many of them are coming and then trying to disturb him, trying to kill him. So she keeps praying to Vishnu. Like, it may sound just like words now for us because of our conditioning. These things sound just like words, But then, when the pure devotees, how much they meditate on this aspect of Vatsalya Bhava, that if you see the various songs by the dasas, and then even in the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, they're saying, what kind of pious credit do you have that Krishna, who is unavailable, who is unattainable even by great sages, by so much of austerity, such Krishna is running away, in fear of you, or he's coming and hugging you as your mother. So that bhava is raganuga bhakti is very difficult for us to actually understand. We may hear, but then it is very difficult to understand what is that Vatsalya that is pouring out of Mother Yashoda, and even Devaki also, actually, because just by thinking of Krishna, the motherly milk flows from their breast. That is the bhava that they feel towards Krishna. And also in that pastime Brahma Vimohana Leela, when Krishna expands himself as all the gopas and all the calves, and he goes to everyone's house, very beautifully it is described there how the mothers and how even the cows are feeling so much more love than the usual time. They are unable to understand how they are feeling that love. So that Vatsalya Bhava is naturally friendly love of Vatsalya Bhava, or parental affection, is being described here by Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj. And of course, the last one is Madhurya Bhava, or the amorous love. When we are, at least I'm talking of myself, when we are unable to comprehend, when I'm unable to comprehend the Vatsalya Bhava of the gopis and the devotees who are playing the part of parent to Krishna, then Madhurya Bhava is even more exalted, and then it takes really mercy of Krishna himself for us to really understand that bhava, because nothing at all can stop them from serving Krishna. No amount of any binding. It can be their husbands, their house. That is what we see about gopis, that how much they are in the Madhurya Bhava. The ultimate, even though, even that pastime of Krishna faking himself that he has headache, and how Narada Muni goes to various devotees asking for the dust of their lotus feet, including Pandavas. Everybody refuses, because saying, if I give the dust of my lotus feet and then that Krishna is going to put on his head, then we are going to hell, right? And then finally, when he comes to the gopis, the moment he doesn't even complete his sentence, when they ask, how is our Krishna? Then he says he has a headache. Then they're jumping. What is it that we can do? Said, yeah, okay. That's all you want? The dust from our lotus feet? And Narada Muni is like, do you know what happens? What will happen if you people are going to hell? He says, no problem. Going to hell or heaven is not our criteria, not our botheration. Our botheration that Krishna should be happy. Krishna should always be smiling. So these are the bhavas that are being described here, which is definitely not comparable to any of the mundane reciprocation, mundane relationship, mundane love that we see here, where we share amongst various people in various relationships, right? It is much higher than that, right? So probably reading about it again and again, and definitely by the mercy of Guru Parampara, we may sometime understand these bhavas, how naturally they come towards Krishna. Imagine if we have to, like Srila Prabhupada says, the deity is non-different from Krishna, right? Now, every time when we go to the temple or we go to our altar and then we are standing in front of our deities, right? How many times do we feel that? How many times do we feel that this is the Lord himself? Or even the Lord's name, name is not different from Krishna, right? So, I'm giving these examples for us to understand that though we have progressed quite a lot in the path of bhakti, but we still have a long way to go. And it is never that we have reached there. If we have come to one stage, then we have another, the next stage to go. Even Uddhava was sent to Goloka because Uddhava thought he was a very, exalted devotee, he himself thought. And then when he went to Goloka and he saw the bhava, he saw the love of the gopis towards Krishna, he said, even if I can become a small speck of dust on their lotus feet, I will consider myself as a great devotee. So these are the kind of bhakti, raganuga bhakti, that this shloka is talking about from Vaidhi Bhakti. Vaidhi Bhakti is that we are doing it more so out of obligation, or because we have to do it. 16 rounds I have to chant because my spiritual master has given. So every time we hear about chanting without offenses, they say, what is the proof that we have been chanting without offenses? Is when we have chanted and completed 16 rounds, then we will not say, oh, I have done for today. The chanting will continue. So that is one test, if we are on the path of Raganuga Bhakti or still we are on the path of Vaidhi Bhakti. Both are very, Vaidhi, I'm not downplaying Vaidhi Bhakti. We need Vaidhi Bhakti to come to remove our anarthas and then to come to the path of the Raganuga Bhakti. So the last portion we will read. Who is going to read the last portion, please? Yeah, Rohini Mataji, you already, you read earlier, isn't it? Yeah. So I'll give somebody else a chance. Who? Karpagavalli Mataji actually. Shobha Mataji also read some portion. Yeah. Karpagavalli Mataji actually raised, okay, Rajashri Suresh Mataji. Yes.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Yeah, the last
From
portion.
here, there is last portion. Hare Krishna. There is an immense, from there it is, there is an immense.
Yes, Mataji.
Okay. There is an immense volume of raga in the other four varieties of emotion. By the promise of Gita, ye yatha mam prapadeyante tams tadeva bhajami haham, Bhagavad Gita 4.11. I will serve one according to his submission. Those who allow themselves to be actuated by the sentiment of fear, anger, and delusion attain to Sayujya Mukti, merging in the Absolute. The Santas obtain bodily forms with aptitude for addiction to Brahman and Paramatma. The Dasya and Asakya classes of worshippers attain bodily forms characterized by masculine or feminine disposition according to the respective grades of eligibility. The Vatsalya class of worshippers get bodily forms befitting fatherly and motherly sentiment. The amorous lovers of Krishna attain the pure forms of gopis, spiritual milkmaids of Raja. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna. So one portion we missed out the previous is the the hostile to friendly but hostile to the object, because they are not friendly. But examples of Shishupala and Kamsa, though they were meditating on, they were meditating on Krishna, Shishupala or Kamsa, even Ravana, but then their mood was not all right. In the right place. Like it was either out of anger, Shishupala out of anger, Kamsa out of fear, and then it talks about the Brahmanas who were bewildered, right? The Panditas who were bewildered, the pantheistic school. So because the name is so purifying, or the smarana or the remembrance of Krishna is so purifying, even though it was not in the favorable way. I can't read now, thank you. Okay. Even though we were, it is not in the favorable way, but still, because it's the Lord's name, because it's the memory of the Lord, they still get benefit. It's like getting the benefit and not getting the benefit also. Now, the achintya bheda bheda tattva kind of understanding, like how when Arjuna, Bhima and all wanted to kill Ashwathama for killing the Upapandavas, that too very heinously, Draupadi, being a pure devotee and being a mother, said, no, let's not kill Ashwathama, because first of all, he is our Guru's son, and secondly, I as a mother am going through what it is to lose a son. I don't want Kripi also to go through that same thing. So Krishna gives Arjuna the intelligence to remove that money that he had on his head and shave off his head. Defamed is as good as death. But then physically he is alive, but morally he is killed. Right? So I took that example to tell how all these people, though they were not favorably remembering Krishna, but still, we hear so much about Ajnana Sukruti. Somebody just by chance, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was born, all these Muslims, they were teasing, hey, they are saying Hari Bol, right? So even that they got benefit. Shishupala, Kamsa and all knew the magnanimity of Krishna, but then they didn't want to accept it. So they get into this aspect of Sayajya Mukti. That is, they merge in the Brahman, but then they come back again, and then they become devotees to be to go into either Vaikuntha Loka or Goloka Vrindavana, because Sayajya Mukti is not complete Mukti, because there there is no aspect of service to Krishna. The ultimate is to be with Krishna, or in the Vaikuntha Lokas to serve Krishna. So that is how the difference is given here about not remembering Krishna in the favorable way. So that one point I left out in the previous reading. Now here, ye yatha mam prapadyante tams tataiva bhajamyaham. I serve one according to his submission. Those who allow themselves to be actuated by sentiments of fear, anger, delusion attain Sayajya Mukti. Whereas now the Shanta obtain bodily forms with aptitude for addiction to Brahman and Paramatma. Right? So they get these kind of in the spiritual world where they are in a position to glorify the Lord only, right? Whereas in the Dasya and Sakya classes, they get forms, bodily forms, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj is saying, where they are going to serve Krishna in that. See, if somebody is in the Dasya Bhava, I'm just giving an example. Dasya Bhava, they can go to Ayodhya Dhama, the Vaikuntha Ayodhya Dhama, where they are servitors, in the mood of Hanuman, they are serving Sri Ramchandra. Right? So Vatsalya Bhava, of course, either as even what is that? Who was born to Kashyapa Muni and Aditi, Vamana Deva. Even they, as they were in the Vatsalya Bhava only, right? So the Vaikuntha Plaminet of Vamana, they can go. I mean, I'm just giving examples, right? How whatever bhava we serve Krishna, what is the bhava? I mean, how much ever we surrender. I was just listening to one another Prabhu talking about, how Krishna is showing through various devotees that he comes or he reciprocates only when we are surrendered completely. Like, he was taking the example of Gajendra. Now, Gajendra, for 1,000 years, what did Gajendra do? Like, he was dependent on his own strength, on his own strength. For 1,000 years, he was fighting. He thought he was Gajendra. He was a powerful elephant, so he could free himself, right? And then if you read that Gajendra Moksha pastimes, like all his relatives, all the elephants together try to pull him out of a crocodile's, one of his leg is stuck when he's caught by the crocodile. Then then the first realization, okay, no relatives, nothing, nobody can do anything. Then it took him 1,000 years to understand that I am trying to use my strength independent of the Lord, right? And then when he realizes, and then he calls out Govinda, then immediately the Lord comes, and then he releases this chakra and kills the crocodile, and both of them are liberated. And then he takes another example of Draupadi. Draupadi, when she comes, Draupadi Vastrabharan, first she thinks, Pancha Pandava, each one is such a Yodha, right? Nobody equal to like Bhima. He has a strength of 10,000 elephants. In fact, he was saying Dushasana also had the strength of 10,000 elephants, right? And he was trying to disrobe her. Then she thinks first her husbands can protect her. Then all of them just bend their head. Then she goes to Bhishma Dev, you know. Bhishma Dev also bends his head. And then she goes to Dhritarashtra, being the king, you know, in a open court sabhe there. She's she's being disrobed. He calls out to Dhritarashtra. Even he fails to protect her. And then when she realizes nobody, you know, all these pastimes should give us whom, where we should depend on, you know. And she lifts her hand. She herself is trying to hold, you know, one part, and trying to, in various lectures they say, you know, she's one hand she's holding and the other hand she's lifting. And till the time she lifted both her hands and she called out to Krishna, you know, Krishna doesn't come. He comes as he was very beautifully saying, as Sari avatar, he comes, right? And then in such a way that not a single portion of her body was exposed. That is how Krishna protected her, right? So this aspect of ye yatha mam prapadyante tam tataiva bhajamiham, like we should not think our intelligence, our strength, our you know, so-called immediately where we depend on, these are not the things that protect us, are going to give us these protectors, are going to give us these bhavas. Even if we want these for us to understand these bhavas, even that Krishna only has to give. And how does he give? When we say, like a child, you know, like how a newborn child completely, it's at the mercy of the mother, right? Whether it wants to eat, whether it is past stool, it is past urine, it is just at the complete mercy of the mother. We have to be that child. Unfortunately, we have grown up, you know, trying to depend on our own abilities, on our own strength, and because of that we are not able to completely relish the bhavas with the Lord. So when we come to that stage as a newborn child, completely dependent on the Lord, then from the Vaidhi Bhakti is still, again, I can do this, I can do that, I can cook well, I can preach well, I can remember shlokas well. Nothing. Krishna says, I am the ability in man. He says, Matta Smritir Jnanam Aponam Cha, 15.15. Krishna says, I am the remember. If I remembered some shloka, that means Krishna gave me that remembrance. If I forgot some shloka, that means Krishna wanted me to forget that shloka. So I forgot. It's not that I forgot, right? So when we, you know, connect Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, and the script, Brahma Samhita, when we connect these, then we can understand why we are not so easily able to come to Raganuga Bhakti, because our surrender is not there. The surrender to Krishna is not there. That our surrender is 10%, Krishna is reciprocating 10%. If our surrender is 20, it's 20. If our surrender is 100, then it's 100%. So that is how the difference between pure devotees like the Pandavas, the Yashoda Ma and Nanda Maharaj, then Srila Prabhupada, like how do we see, how can we see that they have Raganuga Bhakti? It's only because they were 100% surrendered to Krishna. Like Srila Prabhupada's humility can be seen when he says, if by opening this institution, that is ISKCON, if one devotee, I can make one devotee go back to Godhead, I feel I am successful. Actually, his Guru Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj also says the same thing. If I can make one devotee, you see the humility there, right? Not one. They have made thousands and thousands of devotees. So all these are, what to say, interwoven. Humility, surrender, and then this revelation happens. Then we can come to this aspect of Radha Nugavati, right? And then we can think of Krishna, serving Krishna in one of these four. I'm not taking Shanta Bhava because there it is not much of service. It is more of awe and reverence in either Dhasya, Sakya, Vatsalya, or Madhurya Bhava. So with this few words, let's meditate on this. With these few words, I thank all of you for patiently hearing me, and I beg forgiveness for a lot of shortcomings, and then seeking all your prayers. And if there is any small takeaway from this thing, please thank my Guru Maharaj on my behalf for allowing me to share a few things, especially on this auspicious Ekadashi, and also it is Pitra Paksha. So it is, I take it as a lot of mercy for my self-purification. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. If anybody has anything to share or ask, you can. If it's possible, I will answer. Otherwise, we can close the class. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Shanta Bhava means no service, not doing any service, and doing service. Shanta Bhava.
Shanta Bhava is like, now you see, I will give you, I always give examples for us to, when the first time, when we saw a moon, the sunset, beautiful sunset in the beach, what was our feeling? Oh, wow.
Yeah, we are happy.
Like we are kind of, for a moment we are stunned, right?
Okay.
So that is what is Shanta Bhava. Like you're always, you're stunned with the Lord's magnanimity. His
Okay. You're surprised.
Yeah,
Okay.
you're surprised.
Yeah.
So that is,
okay.
So mostly there is no service. But you accept the supremacy and the supremacy of the Lord, that the Lord is person, everything. But then there is no service there.
Okay. Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Okay. So there's nothing. Shall we close the class? Thank you, devotees, very much for joining. We'll close with the Vaishnava Pranam. Mataji, I see a post. Who's the host? Can we close the class, Mataji?
Yes, Mataji. Yes, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Okay. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyev cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Ananta koti Vaishnav ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Gurudev
Jai.
Jai Goshitanat Parmanande. Hari Hari. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Dandavat Pranam.
Excellent class, Mataji. Hari Bol.
Hari Bol. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. With your kind permission, I am just ending this meeting, Mataji.
Yes, Mataji. Hare Krishna.